let's jump a little bit more into this athlete's mindset of them thinking in the future. And these are a lot of the worries of what if this happens, what if this doesn't happen? How is that impacting their game, their focus? Is there any benefits to them thinking that way, or is this just unequivocally hurting their chances of success?
It's a great question, man. I think for the most part, it's hurting their success. I think there's parts where we need to look forward to the future and be grateful for what's coming and be optimistic about what's coming. Most of the time, though, if we worry about the future, then that's where that fear creeps in and things don't go our way. A prime example is I've been working with a lot of, ironically, it's been a lot of freshmen in college and a lot of freshman baseball players. They're at pretty good schools. They will go in expecting to play. And of course, things don't go as expected and they're not playing. And it's, what if I'm here next year and I don't get to play? It's like, dude, that's 12 months away. Like, that's such a long time away. And let alone if we're just going next semester, that's 6 to 8 months still. So for you, you're in the middle of your season, it's just getting rolling. Like, this is the most important part of the season. And what I've been telling a lot of our teams and athletes is you can go two ways at this point. It's like, I can go right and it's the right way, or I can go left and it's the wrong way. And for me, it's which path am I going to choose? Number one. Number two, like, how can I look forward to the future and what it's going to bring, because there's a lot of good things that we can look forward to, but not live in the future and dwell on the future sometimes, or get ourselves in this mental spiral that sometimes happens as an athlete. So for me, it's saying I'm going to recognize the future as part of the deal, and I'm also going to reflect on my past. But what I need to do is I need to find a way to stay in the present moment as much as possible, and that's where the self-talk comes in and those types of things and breathing. But for me, man, I think about it all the time. A lot of these athletes are looking so far. What's ahead today, what's ahead tomorrow, this weekend. It's like, dude, it's Tuesday. You got 3 games this weekend starting Friday. You got 2 or 3 more days to prepare yourself. Like, let's just get better today. And then tomorrow, let's get a little bit better. And then Thursday, let's keep getting a little bit better. And so just keeping things in perspective, man, keeping it very, very simple for them, especially over the course of a season.
It's worth saying it is completely natural to get stuck thinking about the future, thinking about these what ifs, because it's important to you. And you can't stop this future oriented thinking. However, like you said, it's all about, okay, catching yourself thinking maybe a bit irrationally or ineffectively in the future too often, and bringing yourself back to the present. So if you catch yourself thinking about the weekend, thinking about next season, all this stuff, reminding yourself, okay, how do I anchor myself to the present moment? It's fine that I was thinking about the future, but the most important part is that response to thinking that way. And something I wanted to touch on is, I think a lot of batters in this moment, in these high pressure situations, are definitely looking to the future about what they want to happen, worrying about what might not happen. However, I also think it might be relevant that these batters are also going to be thinking in the past in some way. And where my mind goes is, maybe they had this opportunity, bases loaded, had a chance to really help their team out, and it didn't go well. And they're thinking about that last opportunity, and that's sapping their confidence even more. They might also thinking about, hey, I've faced this pitcher before and he's got my number. He knows me. I don't do well against him. These are just examples of, okay, the mind is not present, and it's not in the future where it often will be. However, it's still in the past, which is hurting your game just as much. Maybe, do you have anything to add about players being in the batter box, thinking about the past and not helping their game?
There's so many of them, man. You hit on a lot of them. Two of them for me, at least personally, that I know I experienced was the first one is, I'm having a bad game. I'm 0 for 3. I haven't gotten a hit yet. I need to get a hit. This is my last day B. If I get a hit, I'm hitting 250. If I don't get a hit, I'm hitting 0 for the day. My average goes from 305 to 302. And so you start calculating your stats, and that's the worst way you can go down. And so, but it happens, right? It happens to a lot of us, especially in baseball, because it's such a statistical game and a game of failure. So one of them is like, what has happened already in the game in these situations? I haven't gotten hits already, and I need to get hit now and prove myself or redeem myself or be good for my teammates or whatever the mindset might be. The second one, and this one was a challenge, is in baseball, there's a lot of matchups. And so I'm a left-handed hitter. And for those of us out there who don't maybe understand baseball as much, is it's harder for me to see a left-handed pitcher than a right-handed pitcher. Right-handed pitcher is easier arm angle. The ball comes in, it looks better. It looks easier to see. It's less deceptive. Left-handed pitcher against a left-handed hitter, it's like I'm cranking my neck, and it's a lot harder for me to see that, especially if their arm angle isn't easier to see. And so you'll see a lot of times, especially in the World Baseball Classic, there's a left-handed hitter. It happened yesterday, Japan and Team Mexico. Mexico brought in a left-handed pitcher, actually a good buddy of mine, and one of my old teammates, Jojo Romero. He's a left-handed pitcher, really good, to face Shohei Ohtani, who's arguably the face of baseball all over the world, and he's a left-handed hitter. And he was facing 3 left-handed hitters, and somehow they still scored. But the first thought that goes into your mind is, oh, great, here we go, another lefty. This is good. I suck against lefties. Yeah. Right. And so you tap back into the past. Or I faced this dude 4 times. I've struck out all 4 times. I can't see the ball. He's got a filthy curveball. He's got a good fastball. I just don't see him very well. Like, those things happen versus also like seeing pitchers that you're like, I'm going to dominate this dude. But it's just a difference in my self-talk when I approach the plate in those situations. And so I think those are 2 of the things where we get caught in the past is what happened already this game. Like, I need to eliminate that because it's not going to do me any good in this moment. This is my first at bat. The best advice I heard was, hey, it's 1 for 1 every at bat. Each at bat's a new opportunity. Like, you might go 1 for 1 3 times today. You might go 1 for 1 no times today, but every opportunity is a 1 for 1 mentality. And then the other piece of, oh man, this dude's filthy. I can't see him. He's really good. I've never gotten a hit off this dude. Here we go again. Now, of course, I got to face this guy. And now you're in this negative feedback loop that's telling yourself the wrong things.
Yeah, that here we go again mindset is never helping your mental game. Easy to say.
Yeah.
And then lastly, before we get into the tools here, what do you imagine when a batter is distracted? So they're not even maybe thinking about the past or future, but their thoughts are irrelevant. They're not helping. And again, they're taking away their focus on what they need to be thinking about. What are some obvious distractions a batter might face? I think one is clear from the crowd. If you're focused on what the crowd is saying, that is just irrelevant to your performance right now and not helping you. Anything else jump out at you?
The crowd's funny because when you're in the minor leagues and you go to these, I don't want to say bodunk areas, but there's a lot of small towns with people who love to drink beer, and you'll get the beer batter. And so all you hear on deck is beer, 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 beer. And then the crowd gets louder and everybody's chanting beer. And the 3-year-old over in the corner is chanting beer, beer. And you're like, dude, you're 3. You can't even drink root beer yet. Like, come on. So I think the crowd noise. So you hear like an athletes get tunnel vision, or they're really locked in, or flow state, or all the different words and phrases. But to me, it's just your peak performing state when you don't hear anything, just because you're so focused on what you're about to do. So that's the crowd's definitely a distraction. Coaches are distractions. Unfortunately, is what does my coach think in the third base box or in the dugout? What's coach thinking? If I don't get a hit here, am I going to hit later in the game? Is coach going to trust me to swing the bat, or do I have to bunt? Is he going to give me the take 1 pitch, or do I get to free and swing? Like, there's so many little things in baseball that we don't even think about. And to the outside world, it's like I had no clue.
Yep.
And so I think those are all things with coaches. What do my teammates think of me if I fail again? I haven't gotten a hit in this situation in the last 6 games. I've been struggling. I need to break out. Like, what are my teammates going to think if I don't get the hit? What are my parents going to think, right? A lot of parents put a lot of pressure on us. And so for some of these kids who are playing with that pressure, that it's tough. It's not easy because you've got like the weight of the world on your shoulders every time you step up to the box or you're pitching. And so what's mom and dad going to think, specifically dad in baseball? What's dad going to think of me if I don't get this out, or if I don't hit the ball, or if I don't succeed here? Is he going to yell at me or mother F me on when I get home on the phone? Like, those things are all distractions. It could be weather, right? Weather could always be a distraction. Yeah. It's cold. My hands hurt. It's raining. It's been raining a lot lately this spring. And so a lot of athletes are dealing with that. Oh, I'm not doing good because it's raining, or another rain out, and all those things. There's so many distractions. Umpires, right? That comes into it too. How I feel on a specific day, because you know as well as I do, Gabe, you're a great athlete too. It's like, you never know how you're going to feel. And some days you don't feel good, and some days you feel great. And that affects how you feel in the box. If I don't feel good, it's hard for me to play good because I'm worried about how I'm feeling. I'm sore. I just don't feel right. Like, my head's not right. School can be a distraction. There's so many girls, right? Or boys for even women's sports. So there's so many distractions that creep into this thing. But I think the goal for us, man, is how do we just simplify our thought process, go back to what works, and then remember why we're doing it in the first place. And then we get out there and have some more freedom.